Welcome to the Daily Dazzle, where we stick with it. Here we are. We stick with it. And I want to show you something, right? We spoke about doing 31 days at the start of the year, and here we are. We are still going. So stick with it, girls. Welcome to the Daily Dazzle. So don't give up. One day you'll look back and be glad you didn't. And I am so glad that for me today, that is what I'm saying, right? I am so glad. Don't give up. One day you'll be looking back and be glad that you didn't. And that's an anonymous quote there today as we're diving into this book, Live Your Dreams. If you want a copy of it, let me know, by Terry Savelle. I just love sharing the stories and the way that she's put the stories together and then being able to teach from that perspective. It's just such a gift. And honestly, it has changed my life, right? You can see this poor old book of mine, right? It is falling apart, okay? And, you know, as we go through this and as I teach you my learnings in doing life, in pursuing, living in the pursuit of your dreams, stick with it, okay? So our story today is about a software engineer. So this software engineer, Brian Acton, wanted to be on the cutting edge of technology. So although he had 12 years of experience at Yahoo and he was a software mastermind that nobody wanted to hire, right? So he's got 12 years of experience at Yahoo and he's a software mastermind, yet nobody wants to hire him. Nobody wants to hire him at Facebook. Nobody wants to hire him at Twitter. So his dream job was to work for one of those social giants, but neither of them employed him. So after Twitter rejected him, he tweeted, "Got denied by Twitter headquarters." That's okay. Would have been a long commute. That's what he said. His exact words. Got denied by Twitter HQ. That's okay. Would have been a long commute, right? So after being rejected by Facebook, he posted another optimistic response. Facebook turned me down. It was a great opportunity to connect with some fantastic people looking forward to life's next adventure, right? So he's a guy that's got talent, that's got skill, that's got experience, and his dream job, Facebook and Twitter, he gets denied, right? He's denied his dream. I want you to think about this and keep it in context in your mind, right? So although he was rejected by his two dream companies, he stuck with his desire. He had a stickability, right? He stuck with his desire to be involved with the latest technology. So he decided to team up with a former co-worker at Yahoo, right? So he teamed up with this former co-worker at Yahoo and they began creating his own app, right? So the two masterminds, they come together and they start creating a mastermind app. Now, 5 years later, he sold that app to Facebook of all companies, right? So he had the dream, Facebook and Twitter. He had the talent, had the skills, had the resources. He was rejected. Yet he stuck to his dream. He had stickability. He had staying power. He stayed in alignment with his ultimate desire, right? 5 years later, he sold the app that he and his mate from Yahoo to Facebook for $19 billion. Brian Acton is the co-creator of WhatsApp. Now, I use WhatsApp with my clients, right? So when I read stories like this, it's just like, wow, all of the rejection that he went through in regards to his dream, the dream job that he thought he wanted with Facebook, with Twitter, right? They didn't want him. Okay? You could be faced with this opportunity when you're in pursuit of your dream, when in your pursuit of your desire, right? And what we do, and I'm going to speak to this because what we do sometimes is we decide, well, it must have been the wrong dream, I must have got it wrong, and we make ourselves wrong, instead of leaning in to the desire, sticking with it, right? And I wonder if he would have made that $19 billion working for Facebook and Twitter. Probably not, okay? Probably not. So no matter how many setbacks, right, that you have, regardless of the amount of rejections that you encounter, the disappointments or that you experience, and I have had disappointments, I have had opportunity to give up, and I tell the story about how many times I've wanted to give up and I've thought about giving up, right? It visits us. Rejection, disappointment, right? We experience these setbacks. You have to stick with it. You have to choose to. You get to choose to, right? And the reason why I'm so adamant about your stickability is because your discipline drives you to your dreams, right? You get to discover your desires. You get to discover your purpose, your mission, the things that you want. You get to discover your dreams and connect with it. And then you get to discover how much discipline you have in the pursuit of your dreams. How much stickability do you have? Are you going to stick with it? Yeah. So your dreams are part of the overall assignment that God has for your life. Your calling, your vision, your mission, and regardless of your beliefs, regardless of whether or not you choose to believe in the higher power, believe that it's God, believe that it's something else, that is your decision. You get to choose that, right? What I want you to know though is that your dreams are part of your overall assignment that God's placed in you. It's in your DNA, okay? So anyone who has achieved great success has learned to stick with things. In other words, they stick with things when they don't see progress. And that's something that I've done. I'm just going to decide that some of the things that I'm believing for, that I've got on my vision board, that I'm focused towards with my dream and what the impact that I want to create, whilst I'm yet to see it all in the natural sense, I've decided that it's all happening in the unseen realm. It is all happening there. It is still all happening regardless of what I perceive with my natural abilities, with my natural eyes, okay? So I stick with it, and you get to choose to stick with it too, regardless of the progress. You stick with it. You stick with it when things exceed our expectations, right? You stick with it regardless of what the playing field looks like. And you could say that I'm someone, and you get to be this someone too, that we're glued to their goals. Stickability means to be glued to your goals. Stickability means to be glued to your desires, your vision and your mission and the things that you are creating in your life. And it means that if they have a goal, they have a dream, they have a vision, they stick to it until it happens. Right? So I can still tell you about the times that I've wanted to give up and thought about giving up. I can still tell you about the times when my sticky isn't quite so sticky, right? Where the glue's not as sticky as it could be. Where my stickability's gone a little bit limp, right? And what do I do when I notice it, right? One, I sort of spiral a little bit. I can feel the energy in my body. There's a shift. I'm not quite myself. I'm having a flat day, whatever it is. right? Because you do actually get to choose to live in the energy of a high vibration as much as you choose to, right? And we all go through things, okay? We all go through things. But you get to remind yourself and stick with what you desire, right? A great deal of our success is our ability to stay consistent and committed until we see success. I think it was 2017 and 2018. My word for those 2 years was consistent action. I knew that if I was going to pursue my dream, my vision, and to fulfill the call that was on my life, I had to develop the discipline of being consistent. I had to develop the discipline of being committed to work on my stickability, my staying power. And you know, for me, I chose to, at that time, stay in a marriage which was in the toilet, where I was being abused, emotionally abused, financially abused, spiritually abused. There was a lot of stuff that was going on, and I can say this from the perspective now that I know that I was causing that, I was creating that, I was doing that also to myself, and I was allowing it. And it was a part of my stickability though, right? Because I can actually be good at just getting up and walking away, right? When you do and discover who you are and discover your personal power system that I take you through in my programs as a part of, you know, the dream mastery system that I have, that it supports all of the programs that I run, the retreats, and it Evolve and Elevate, the Awaken Her. These things that I'm talking about, they come from my dream mastery system, which is a system that I used to change my life, right? I used this system. And when you discover your personal power system and how you work and how you operate, one of the things that I'm aware of that I needed to do, even though I was in that situation, it was a part of learning how to be stickable, right? To attach myself. And even though you can say, well, that was an unhealthy situation to attach yourself to, you're right, it was. I needed to leave, yet I also had the opportunity to learn something, right? So I'd write in my gratitude, I'm grateful this is happening to me because it's teaching me to be stickable. I'm grateful this is happening to me because I'm learning to be committed. I'm grateful this is happening to me because I'm learning consistency, right? And if you're in that situation, you need to get out to keep safe, then you need to do that, right? For me, I was on a different journey, right? We're all on different journeys here, and I respect every person's, you know, differences here, okay? So I've got you, all right? And I want you to know, whatever situation you're in right now, right, you have the choices in front of you that you need to make. I'm just using this as an example, and it's quite an extreme example, I know. However, I can look back on that pain that I was going through, and I can see what I was learning, right, from this perspective right here, right now, to stick with it. And my miracle came, right? My miracle came. And when my miracle came and I was released from that marriage, when I was kicked out, if you like, because that's actually what happened, given 7 days, see you later, you got 7 days, go, bye, right? And I stayed longer than the 7 days. But my point is that pain, that trauma, because it was a dark time. It was a huge, dark night of the soul time. So much shame, so much rejection that I was going through. But I can look now and go, well, what did that give me? That has given me the ability to stay consistent and to be committed and to have a stickability pattern in my life. And I can still now choose to say yes, I can choose to say no, I can choose to come, I can choose to go, because I've got that power. I've built the resources in me. And you know, through those years, I kept those words, and it was relevant to my business as well as it was relevant to my personal life, because we're the same people at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, you're the same woman who lives her life, in her personal relationships. You're the same woman that shows up in your business, right? right? Rather than think you're separate, you're not. Sorry, you're the same. Okay, same woman. Okay, and you think, oh well, I keep my business and I keep my personal separate. I keep them divided. I keep them separate. Okay, there might be elements on a practical level. However, you yourself and women can come to me and say, well, my business isn't working. I've been in business for such a long time, and yet my business is going down into the toilet. I've had the success, and yet my business going down to the toilet. And oftentimes it never comes back to her or the person needing to do more or to learn a new skill. It's really about her reconnecting within herself and choosing to stick with it. Stick with herself, right? Stickability to the dream and the vision. Stickability to how much you love and care for yourself, all right? Oh, I could keep going with this. We'll leave it at that. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me here on the Daily Dazzle. Stick with it, girls. You've got this. You're the women on a mission. Thank you for joining the Daily Dazzle, and bye for now. See you later.